All rise. Oh yay, oh yay, oh yay. United States District Court for the Western District of North Carolina is now sitting for ceremonial purposes. The Honorable Robert J. Conway, Judge of the United States District Court, presiding. All persons having business before this court are admonished to draw near, and they shall be heard. God save these United States. This honorable court.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. This memorable session of Superior Court is now in session. The Honorable Karen E. Williams, Judge presiding. All persons having business before this court are admonished to draw near and shall be heard. God save the state and this honorable court. Please be seated and come to order.
Good afternoon. Today we gather in a joint session of the federal and state courts to recognize the service and the life of one of our members, Ms. Cheslie Kryst.
This memorial service is a time-honored tradition when the brothers and sisters of the bar pay homage to the life and times of one of their profession, of one who has shared this unique discipline that binds us together.
Today we recognize that life and those achievements as a matter of public record and for the sake of our historic and corporate memory. We'd like to take this time to recognize the members of the state and federal judiciary who are with us today. Judge Samantha from the Mecklenburg County District Court, Judge Samantha Mobley, Judge Aretha Blake, Judge Shante Burke Heyer, Judge Renee Little, and from the federal court, Magistrate Judge David Kiesler.
I will now recognize the President-elect of the Mecklenburg County Bar, Ms. Courtney Ballard, who will now give remarks on behalf of the 26th District Bar.
Hello, my name is Courtney Ballard, President-elect of the Mecklenburg County Bar. We welcome family, friends, and colleagues of Ms. Cheslie Kryst, to whom we offer our sincere condolences. I will now introduce the Honorable Samantha Mobley, a member of the Memorials Committee, who will tell you more about this time-honored tradition of our bar.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Judge Samantha Mobley, member of the Mecklenburg County Memorials Committee. On behalf of the Mecklenburg County Bar, we welcome the friends and family gathered here today. I would like to thank you all for joining us, both here in the courtroom and also virtually. For the past 7 or so decades, our bar has convened memorial sessions of court for our recently deceased members, taking the opportunity to remember and celebrate their lives. As far as we can determine, we may be the only local bar that holds these sessions. We are proud of this tradition and the role that these sessions play in preserving the history of our bar. Today, Tate Ogburn will present a resolution honoring Cheslie Kryst. That resolution will be presented to the court, and the filed resolution will be included in the minutes of the court and maintained with all preceding resolutions in a bound volume in the Clerk of Court's office. The resolution will also be permanently posted on the bar website, along with preceding resolutions, with copies to be provided to the family. I will now turn this over to Mr. Tate Ogburn. Thank you.
May it please the court. Your honors, it is my distinct privilege and high honor to represent the Mecklenburg County Bar by firm pointers rule and Cheslie Kryst's family, friends, and many supporters in presenting to the court this resolution and memorial honoring the life and memory of Cheslie Corinne Kryst. With the court's permission, I would like to address the audience and the court simultaneously.
Amen.
I would also like to begin by recognizing the members of Cheslie's family who are present in court. Her mother, April Simpkins, her stepfather, David Simpkins, her father, Rodney Kryst, her sister, Paige Kryst, her grandmother, Tessa Simpkins, and her grandfather, Gary Simpkins. To know Cheslie is to be inspired by her. Her many professional and personal accomplishments are well documented, but she was so much more than that. We can honor Cheslie by honoring the principles that guided her life: justice, equity, and love. She's been described as walking sunshine, and that's true. Her memory remains a light in our lives. Cheslie had the unique ability to challenge societal conventions. She excelled whether her stage was a courtroom, a beauty pageant, or a personal conversation. She was as comfortable in a pair of high heels as she was in spikes as a Division I track and field athlete. It didn't matter whether you were a client on death row or one of millions watching the entertainment news show where she worked as a correspondent. Cheslie made you feel special. Cheslie was born on April 28, 1991 in Jackson, Michigan, to Rodney Kryst and April Simpkins. Cheslie spent much of her childhood in Charlotte. After graduating from Fort Mill High School, Cheslie earned a business degree with honors at a business degree from the Honors College at the University of South Carolina, where she graduated cum laude. Additionally, she was an accomplished athlete, primarily participating in the long jump and the triple jump. But as was her nature, she also participated in relays, hurdles, and anything else her team needed. From the University of South Carolina, she went to Wake Forest University, where in 2017, Cheslie earned both a JD and an MBA. She then successfully passed the bar in both North Carolina and South Carolina. While attending law school, she spent summers in what she liked to refer to as her professional law clerk position with our firm Pointer Spruill. Then in 2017, we were beyond thrilled when she chose to join our firm as a litigation associate. She was beloved by colleagues, clients, and those in the wider legal community. Cheslie was a successful and enthusiastic attorney. In addition to her work for our firm, Cheslie pursued her passion as a pro bono advocate for clients with excessive sentences, particularly people of color. She also started a blog for women that provided advice and inspiration concerning affordable and fashionable business attire. Cheslie was an ardent advocate for meaningful diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, especially in the legal industry. She helped draft our firm's DE&I plan and returned to the firm part-time as our first diversity advisor after she began her television career. When Cheslie had the idea for a firm-sponsored panel discussion involving diverse voices in the legal community for Black History Month, she made it a reality. She always challenged the status quo, and she was vocal in sharing her passion for the cause. Her legacy lives on with Pointer Spruill, and her shared brilliance continues to make us a better, more inclusive law firm. DE&I was not her only cause. She became an impact ambassador for Dress for Success, combining her love for fashion and philanthropy. She also supported Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America and was named to their national board. These were just some of her many commitments to change, and she embraced all of them with enthusiasm. As Cheslie was fully committed to her career as a full-time legal associate, her colleagues were very surprised to learn in 2019 that she had won Miss North Carolina. For years, she had worked towards this achievement with unmatched discipline. Her mother was the former Miss North Carolina US. Cheslie won Miss Freshman at Northwestern High School and won Miss Fort Mill High School. Cheslie was a talented pianist, fashion designer, and entrepreneur. Many people have vision, but no one could bring that vision to life and communicate it to the world the way Cheslie could. We all enthusiastically cheered when Cheslie was crowned Miss USA in 2019, and when she notably became a part of a historic trifecta of Black pageant winners, along with Miss Teen USA Kaylee Garris and Cheslie's dear friend, Miss America Nia Franklin. In fact, I recall a client texting me the night Cheslie won, so excited to be able to tell all her friends and colleagues that her lawyer was Miss USA. Cheslie proudly wore the Miss USA crown for 557 days as the longest reigning title holder in Miss USA history. The Miss USA title, along with Cheslie's brilliance, quick wit, and empathy, opened doors for Cheslie to become a twice Daytime Emmy-nominated correspondent for the TV program Extra and a national celebrity. But despite her quick rise to stardom, Cheslie remained Cheslie. She stayed connected to our firm, the legal community, and the people she knew before she became a star. This included sending my daughter multiple ideas for her 8th grade graduation dress. Cheslie valued family. They grounded her and inspired her. She is survived by her parents, Rodney Kryst, April Simpkins, and David Simpkins, her sister Paige, her brothers Asa, Chandler, Brooklyn, and Jet, her niece Reagan, her grandparents Joyce, Reese Thomas, Virginia Kryst, and Gary and Tessa Simpkins, and a host of aunts, uncles, and cousins. At 30 years old, Cheslie tragically died by suicide on January 30th, 2022, after a long battle with high-functioning depression. The fact that her struggles were unknown to so many sparked a nationwide movement to focus on mental health and to come together as a community. That discussion continues to this day and will continue for a long time to come. Everyone who worked with or knew Cheslie remembers her sense of humor, which could be a bit wicked and typically was accompanied by her contagious laugh. She could find humor in almost anything. Her laugh also contains something undeniably sweet. Most anything would do, but insomnia cookies in the afternoon will forever remind her coworkers of Cheslie. All who knew and loved her will also remember her smile when we think of her amazing spirit that she shared freely with so many. Cheslie's legacy and impact will live on with the work that is being done in her name and in honor of her memory. Her passion for the law and for all being treated equitably and fairly is what should be taken from her legal career. Please join me, my law firm, and the whole legal community in honoring Cheslie Kryst. So, Your Honors, with a deep sense of friendship, admiration, and gratitude for Cheslie's life, we respectfully move that the United States District Court for the Western District of North Carolina and the Superior Court of Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, shall adjourn this day in memory and honor of Cheslie Corinne Kryst, and that this resolution and memorial shall be stamped, filed, and inscribed in the minutes of these courts, with a copy kept in the memorials of deceased attorneys in the office of the Clerk of Superior Court of Mecklenburg County, and copies made available to the family. Thank you very much.
At this time, the court will ask that those who would like to share remarks in memory of Cheslie Kryst, please approach the podium.
You may.
My name is Danielle Phelps, and I've known Cheslie for a very long time. And I don't say that I knew her, because someone taught me an expression after Cheslie passed that was, she is only gone when you stop saying her name. So I didn't know her. I know her in everything that I do. As recent as this week, I got my God wink reminding me she was present in all that I do and all that we all do, all of the time. Now, my knowledge of Cheslie is mostly on the pageant front, and then a friendship that was born out of that. But I learned so much more from her, from a simple comment she made at an event that she was at with me. She wasn't a title holder at the time. It was before she won North Carolina USA. She had been competing in another system. And someone did something that she felt like was inappropriate. And she said, "We don't do that." Okay. For Miss Sunshine, who had this huge, powerful aura about her that was always joyful and loving, to say the words, "We don't do that," with a stone cold face meant we don't do that. It was that look you get across the room from your mama, even though she was so much younger than me. And I talked to her about it later. And she told a story that has been told on her social media, and lots of people have heard about a redirection or advice that she received in a mock trial about the length of her skirt. Being a little bit shorter might be beneficial. And she said to me, "We don't do that. We don't do that." That is what I think of when I think of Cheslie. Right and wrong. There are no gray areas. It is right or it is wrong. And if we choose to stand and don't call out what is wrong when it is wrong, then why are we standing? So I stand every day when I face something that's an injustice, or I see someone facing an injustice because of the privilege that I have in life. And I remember her words. We don't do that. I remember her smile, and I remember her laughter, her unending love for her family. Her family were her heroes. They were the people who fed her the fuel to keep going in life. There was nothing more precious than watching her in a quiet, private moment with her mother that I will never forget in the backseat of a car. All she needed in her most stressful moment was 5 seconds with her head on her mama's shoulders. The laughter with Paige, talking about her hair or changing her hair, or the moment she all gave us heart failure when we thought she'd cut her hair off, but Paige just did magic on social media, or the photos with her brother, or the pride she had with her younger brothers. I'm standing here today to ask you to never stop saying her name, because as long as we say her name, we'll be allowed to continue to stand for what she stood for, the right side of life. And while you remember her loving insomnia cookies and her laughter and her unending laughter, I also remember girl could eat. You could put a plate of dessert in front of her and she could put hurting on it, even though she had a body that most people would have done pretty much anything for. Thank you for remembering Cheslie. Thank you for saying her name, not only for her family, for her parents, her sister, her grandparents, and her friends, but for the rest of the world, so that we can continue to be impacted by what she stood for, who she was, and the legacy behind her name. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to say anything at this time? And the court orders that the comments presented at this hour be spread upon the minutes of the court, of this court, and filed with copies presented to the family of our deported sister at the bar.
On behalf of the judges of Mecklenburg County Superior Court, the court orders that the comments at this hour be spread upon the minutes of the state court and filed with the clerk of court for Mecklenburg County.
Court further orders that the U.S. Marshal adjourn this joint memorial session of the court in memory of and out of respect for Ms. Cheslie Kryst. Fare thee well, colleague, and Godspeed.
Sheriff, please adjourn this court in honor and in memory of Ms. Cheslie Kryst.
All rise. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Memorial session, United States District Court, the Western District of North Carolina is adjourned. In memory of and respect for Cheslie Kryst.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. This joint session of federal and state court is adjourned in memory of and out of respect for Ms. Cheslie Kryst.